Britain is celebrating Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, her 70 years on the throne. There are a series of official events starting with Thursday's Trooping the Colour Parade and ending on Sunday with a Jubilee pageant through London. For more of what to expect, we're now being joined live from Buckingham Palace by Rise international correspondent Adefemi Akinsanya. Good morning, Adefemi. Morning.
Very good morning to you.
Thrilling,
good to hear your voice. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. How thrilling you're out there in Buckingham Palace. Tell all.
It's very exciting. You know, it's still very early on in the day, so you can see the palace just behind me there. And I know just slightly out of vision is a lot of construction stages for performances. And as you said, we are going to be expecting that vast military parade, but it is very early on in the morning, but you can feel the excitement. It is palpable. This, as you said, is a historic moment. This is 70 years. The Queen is celebrating her 70th year on the throne, and that's historic in itself, being that no other British king or queen would have reigned as long as Elizabeth II. So this is major, historically speaking. But Tundun, you'll also be aware that this is happening against the backdrop of a lot of socio-economic strife here in the United Kingdom. I'd say most especially here in England, there's been vast coverage of a cost of living crisis. And so for some people, coming out to celebrate the Queen 70th Jubilee, as historic as it may seem, almost comes as a slap in the face. Many more people are having to rely on food banks. People who are working, but still the working poor are still struggling. And then, of course, there's been the controversies following the royal family, from royal tours to Canada, where many people, the first children, the indigenous populations there, have been asking for an apology. We all remember the Caribbean tour that Prince William and Kate went on. Obviously wasn't successful, and that was the same with the Wessexes. So when we're coming to look at all of the pomp and pageantry that we're seeing in celebration of the 70th Jubilee, for some people here in the United Kingdom, they're not very happy to be celebrating in such a extravagant way where many people are struggling financially.
That's a great point, Adefemi. But one would have thought that post-COVID, people would be happy for the opportunity of an ease-up. But I guess, yes, the pressing issues of ends not meeting will take precedence at this time.
Well, I mean, what's the general mood in London today? Because, you know, despite the cost of living crisis, it looks like people are excited. Just give us a description of the spectacles that you have seen as, Britain prepares for the Trooping the Colour ceremony.
Oh, Dr. Rubin, even I'm excited hearing your voice. It's been so long. Well, yes, I can't deny the excitement is palpable. Just on my walk, because I took the tube into Westminster, I actually got off at St. James's Park and walked to this live position here, and there's a lot of people. It's still very early on in the day, but quite a lot of people. Many of them dressed beautifully, headpieces, dresses, blazers, suits, and that's everybody, the men, the women, and the children. And that excitement is definitely palpable in the queues. People very, very happy, and as you walk along, you're seeing very small bits of the military parade rehearsals, so that's adding to the excitement. So there was never going to be any doubt that the Jubilee celebrations would pull a crowd, and so that's definitely what we're seeing here. It's a shame that you can't see all around here. I'm sure there'll be pictures dropping soon where you'll be able to see the seating areas, and that's filling up quite quickly, people wanting to get their seats and wait for the arrival of the royal family and of course Queen Elizabeth II herself. It is definitely going to be quite a momentous period. This is the first of 4 days of celebration. Today we're looking forward to seeing the Trooping the Colour, the military parade, and that's a beautiful example of the British culture when it comes to celebrating the monarchy at a time like this. So it is very, very exciting. I don't know if anybody that I've seen just yet is more excited than I am to be speaking to you, Dr. Rubin, and to the rest of you in the studio, but it is definitely an exciting time here. And the weather is wonderful. The weather is wonderful today.
I mean, I could feel your excitement, Femi, and goodness me, what I'm always very concerned about when the Queen has a Jubilee is the lineup, the act lineup. I remember 2012, you had all the big acts come in there, you know, all the big musicians and all of that, and the performances. This year, a little bit tells me about Rod Stewart's in the mix, Diana Ross. Who else is coming to the Queen's party?
So that's you and I seem to have gotten the same level of information. Those are the two names that I've heard just yet, and I will be keeping my ear to the ground to find out which other confirmed acts. But when you take a look at that stage, you have to know that it's going to be huge, and we know that over the course of the week there'll be many performances from huge international stars. That's what they've been described as. I'll keep my ear to the ground to see if Wasiu K1 the Ultimate makes an appearance. It'd be lovely to see hear some Fuji music on stage, but we'll have to wait and see who the confirmed acts are, all of them. But yes, I have been hearing about Diana Ross making an appearance. That would be wonderful. And, you know, when we're looking at, I wasn't able to address Tunden's question on COVID. This is definitely one of the first opportunities for many people to gather at a time like this and come together, literally being in each other's presence without the immediate threat and worry of the COVID-19 protocol. So it's not as if, you know, the face masks are mandatory anywhere around this area. So it is definitely one of the first examples for many people to come together and celebrate at a time like this. And back to your question, Rufai, celebrating is what a lot of people are going to be doing over the course of these 4 days. So we will be keeping our ear to the ground, of course, and stay with as many updates, keeping you abreast of what's happening at the 70th Jubilee right here at Buckingham Palace.
Duran is going to be there performing. Duran is going to be there.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, don't get me started. I'll dance.
Two things, Adefemi. Any takes on the fact that the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex have been invited and they have arrived to join family and celebrate the Queen? Is there something about that in the media that is being played off? And then is there a sense, I've read some analysis, that this is probably a transition for Britain. The Queen has been having mobility problems. First major royal ceremony she'll be having without her husband, Prince Philip, now blessed memory, beside her. And in recent times, we've been seeing Prince Charles representing her more and more. Is there a sense that this may well be the beginning of a transition in Britain?
Thank you, Dr. Rubin. So if we start with Harry and Meghan, they are, of course, expected to be here and make a public appearance. And that would be, as it would seem, the first time the Queen would be meeting her grandson, that being Archie, and of course granddaughter Lilibet. Unclear if both children are here with their parents. So that's obviously going to be quite significant because of the wider issue in Harry and Meghan, the Sussexes leaving Buckingham Palace, leaving the United Kingdom and setting up shop over across the pond in the United States. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the dynamics are, and that obviously brings up conversations about race relations and how it pertains and what role they played in their departure in the first place. So that'll be very interesting to see what type of appearances will make, the dynamics between Harry and Meghan and his brother and sister-in-law, his grandmother too. And of course, this, again, with the loss of the Queen's husband, it's definitely going to be first and foremost the first time everybody's coming together at a time like this for a celebration of this kind. But you're right in noticing that this may well mark a transition period. The Queen herself is 96 years old and has been suffering from mobility issues quite lately. We do know that she obviously had caught COVID as well. So while many people are of course excited to see the monarch, it does mark perhaps the beginning of the end. We are seeing more and more of her natural successor, which is Prince Charles, make a few more appearances, and it will be interesting to see when we look ahead and cast our minds forward to what a new monarchy will look like with Prince Charles probably at the helm, how the British people would would treat it. And, you know, for a long time, many people have had a very interesting relationship with the royal family. I'm talking about people, of course, in the United Kingdom, but across the Commonwealth. And for Nigerians, for example, and Nigerian immigrants to the United Kingdom, there's always been quite a beautiful tie they've had to the royal family. And for many people, the general consensus was the presence of Princess Diana, of blessed memory too. So it would be interesting to see again over the years how that relationship and how the view of the royal family has changed in light of course, Diana's departure, but quite recently, the treatment of Harry and Meghan.
Well, we can only join you and other persons who are out there to say all hail the Queen. Queen of England, head of the Commonwealth, head of the Church of England, defender of the faith. Thank you.